Hello, everybody. Welcome to the United Front. This is your Manchester United preview against Grimsby Town in the League Cup. Um, yeah. Obviously, like, I'm still gutted towards the Fulham game. Somehow, it still hurts. I mean, I always feel like a draw's a loss, especially a team like that we expect to be. No offense to Fulham, but it is what it is. 1-1. But obviously, in this game against Grimsby, I'm pretty sure he's gonna change the whole team. Talking about the team, this is what I've gone with. Now initially I made a few changes before I started recording, but I figured it made sense why I would do it. So initially I had Onana in goal, but I put in Heaton because you just look at Onana, you're thinking he was number one at Man United, and then he was dropped against Fulham on the bench, and it's like his time's up. And obviously, rumours that he wants to leave Manchester United now. So, you know, you could take that as a positive, but so I figured why not he'd start Heaton, no, especially against Grimsby. I'm thinking why wouldn't Tom Heaton play? Because obviously there were some people saying that he should play even in Premier League games. So I'm thinking, you know what, why not? Let's see him in obviously in the League Cup. So yeah, I went with him. Back three, complete whole change. I went with Maguire, Heaven, and Frederiksen. Obviously, Yoro, Shaw, and Delict. Obviously, rest. Obviously, went back in Dorgu, who's going to play most of the time anyway. So I figured Leon would start. And obviously, unfortunately, Dalot, because you don't have any win back apart from Ahmad. Obviously, after making a mistake like that, but of course he's going to start because obviously Portuguese bias from Amorim. But look, I wouldn't really call it Portuguese bias. I'd probably say favoritism because, it's not only Amorim. Other managers had it like Van Gaal, Mourinho, Oli. Oli kept playing McTominay and Fred in every game. Ten Hag, he kept playing Anthony instead of Ahmad. So, midfield's interesting. It's funny and ironic because this is our balanced and best midfield that we can come up with, Ugarte and Menu. And you're just seeing that midfield not playing, but you're seeing Bruno and Casemiro that has no balance, and it's absolutely terrible. And it's almost like they're our main midfield team. I'm thinking, why? Just why? I mean, it's just stupid. Casemiro would have made sense because, like I said, he can't cope with the pace of the Premier League. And I'm thinking, why not in a rotation game against Leeds? Sorry, not Leeds. Grimsby Town. Figured, why not? That could be more of his game. So, but I went with Garte because he's bound to start. He's been coming off the bench, so I figured he'd probably get some game time. And obviously, Menu. Now, obviously, there's this whole news about Menu, of him not starting. Now, what do I think about it? I just want to talk about Menu, and some of the people are commenting about it. I've seen comments about Menu not even getting picked, and Ugarte's getting picked, and I keep thinking to myself, there's no way people are saying this with chest because Ugarte and Menu are not the same players, and technically Ugarte is fighting for his position against Casemiro, so if anything, Menu's technically fighting for his position for Bruno, because technically Menu is more similar to Bruno than he is similar to Ugarte, because Ugarte is more of a defensive player, defensive midfielder, whereas Menu is more of an attacking midfielder. So, and it's just weird. I mean, people say, "Oh, Ugarte is playing over," and I keep thinking to myself, Menu should be going for Bruno, and hopefully Amorim does drop him. But look, I picked him out. I'll tell you why, but he needs to start. I mean, he needs to play. And I'm not. This isn't like because when people keep saying, "Oh, Menu," like if we sell Menu for Ruben Amorim, then it's like carnage. And I keep thinking to myself, I'm hoping this isn't showing that it's player FC. Because even a great player like Menu, there shouldn't be fans having a whole player FC for him. It just doesn't make sense. We did this with Garnacho, and look where it is now. I don't want it to be with Menu. obviously should never be player over manager anyway. But when you got someone like Menu with that quality, I'm thinking, how is he not playing? You know, he came through, played in the Euros, he played in a bloody final as well. You know, because, I mean, you know, Southgate tried Trent, didn't work. Tried Gallagher, didn't work. But when he tried Mainu, there was balance in that midfield, and that's why he kept on going. Obviously, he was FA Cup player of the tournament. That just says a lot as well. So I'm thinking to myself, how is this guy having a breakthrough season like that not playing? It's just amazing. So I mean, he has to start. I mean, same with Ugarte, but I'm thinking, why is Casemiro playing over him? You know, he doesn't fit the system. He's not fast. He's not quick. I'm not saying Ugarte's very rapid, but he is quicker than Casemiro. I mean, let's just say he's a young Casemiro, but with legs in midfield. And that's what you need in an Amorim system, especially in the midfield. You need legs in midfield and players that can play that position. But Casemiro can't play there because he's slow, like I said. And Bruno can't play there because he's not mobile enough and he's not disciplined. So, and look, for a player like Bruno, you're just limited in his attributes, you know, where he should go more forward. So, I picked this. Look, it's ironic because this should be our midfield when we're playing Premier League games. But knowing Amorim, he wants to play Bruno in the midfield, which is, it just doesn't make sense. So, you know, I went with Mount. Obviously, it has started, but I figured rest Cunha. I mean, the possibility he might start in Bromo just to kick off, just to get more game time. I still went with Bruno because despite obviously having a stinker against Fulham, knowing Bruno, he's still gonna play. Now I know he should be dropped, but I was just thinking to myself, well, who could play there? I mean, I'm just like, it could be Xerxes, but then at the same time, it could be, you know, he's coming back from fitness. No, it could be Xerxes. You know, it could be him up front, but he's just coming back from injury. So I wouldn't really expect it. But look, he could come off the bench. So, you know, I say Bruno starts and look, play him in the position where he actually suits himself, and that's in the number 10. And look, you will see a difference. Now, obviously, I wouldn't say, because of that game, he has to start because it is against Grimsby. But, you know, it will show you why Bruno should play where he should be and not in that pivot. I went with Sesko. Obviously, in my title it says Sesko must start, and I think why not? Why can't he not start? Because we've got Burnley next, and then after that we've got the bloody Manchester derby, and we got Chelsea, and obviously after that we got Brentford, Sunderland, and then after that another international break we got Liverpool, and I'm thinking to myself, he best not start his first Premier League start against Man City, because that's just like, you know, and look, I understand Amorim's approach, easing him into the squad. I understand that. So when I saw him off the bench, when I saw on the bench and coming on and playing for more than he did against Arsenal, I figured he has to start against Grimsby. You know, he doesn't need to play a full 90, play at least 60, 70 minutes most of the game, and then obviously play Xerxes or whatever, and then he should start against Burnley. Because after that, another international break, you got City and Chelsea, and he needs to be ready. He needs match sharpness. He needs to, you know, play. Because people are getting frustrated thinking, why are we not seeing Sesko? So, you know, I went with Sesko. He has to start. Otherwise, if Amorim does another false nine, I'm not saying this because I don't want him gone. I don't want him sacked. But he's going to sack himself. So it just shows how bad it is. And look, I never thought he'd do false nine twice in a row. He did it 3 times in a row. Fiorentina, didn't work. Arsenal, it did not work. It was too late technically. And Fulham, it did not work. So, look, start a striker against Grimsby at least, you know. Because he knows that false line doesn't work and you need a striker for his system to work. So, you know, you need that vocal point. So yeah, that's my team. I was thinking about putting in Burma, but I'm thinking look, you probably might want to rest him because obviously we got, I think on Saturday we play against Burnley, so I figured why not. So yeah, I went with a 2-0 win. I was initially gonna go 3, but then I thought to myself, we're Man United, we don't score a lot, so I figured 2-0 would probably be a right result. You never know, it could be 2-1. We could concede. You never know. Um, I went with Sesko and Mount being the goal scorers, and I think Mount will have a good game. I think obviously that's if he starts, but I figured maybe it could be a good game for him where he actually gets man of the match. So, you know, um, but yeah, um, it's all a bit about Man United to be honest. But Grimsby, who are actually a League Two, I thought they were Championship. Well, actually no, actually no now. Where are they? So obviously they won. It was 3-3 in their. Is that friendly? I'm just checking. No, it's their actual game. So 3-3 against Harrogate Town. Then in the League One first round, they beat Shrewsbury 3-1. Newport County, who we've had struggles with, 2-1. They've beaten them. Walsall, they beat 1-0. And Accrington Stanley, they drew 1-1. So if we're really adding it up, they can score goals, but that's the thing. They're currently fourth, but that's the question, comparing Grimsby, who are a League Two side, against the Premier League side at United. So I'm thinking, surely Man United have to win this game. And look, obviously I'm saying, oh, look at their results, and it's like, well, that's pointless because they're in a different league. But you never know. In League Cup, even in FA Cup, there are upsets. So you never know. Man United could hammer them, or struggle, or cause an upset. So I figured, why not? And look, nice to learn about Grimsby because I did really thought they were Championship, but I mean, I did really knew about them when Brighton played against them. And I believe, I don't know, was that 5-1 Grimsby versus Brighton? I believe it was 5-1. Oh, it's 5-0. Okay, I thought they played well. So yeah. But yeah, look, I understand it's League Cup. I understand it's an opponent that's very low compared to Premier League teams, but all I want is a win. We need a win. I predicted Brentford to go down and they got a win before us. And I understand it's 2 wins. I understand it's 2 games. But I don't mind losing to Arsenal because it's Arsenal. They're a better team at the moment. And Fulham, we should have won. But we made Fulham so great. We made them into prime Barcelona. So, but look, all I want is a win. And then obviously when we go to Burnley, when we think about that, we obviously win then. So, it couldn't be 6 of 9, unfortunately. So probably has to be 4 of 9 if we do win against Burnley. So, But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna do a watch on because it's Wednesday. Take care. See you in the next one.